Hello folks, this is Margie Roy from 3dcuts.com and this is the assembly tutorial for the Zigzag Haunted Village. This village, like my other zigzag villages, folds flat for storage or mailing and then can be opened up to create a 3D little village. Let's get started. First, I want to emphasize the importance of a good mat when you cut these files. I have a Silhouette Cameo 3 and I cut them using a Nakapa mat, and it is fairly new and quite sticky. And that's important because when you peel these, you do want to be sure that the little pieces, like the insides of the windows, stay on the mat. Watch me peel this part of the mansion here, and very quickly you see that all the little inside pieces stay adhered to the mat. It really makes this job much easier. That doesn't happen if your mat is not sticky enough. See, all the window inserts stayed attached. Be sure to have a sticky mat when you do this project. Let's get started with the wall that I label as Wall 1. It has the main part of the mansion and the garage on it. In the cutting file for this wall, there is the main mansion plus the two backing pieces. That's what we're going to work with now. The rest of the pieces we can put off to the side. The purpose of these pieces are to give added strength to the cardstock, but also to hold the filler that I use for the windows in place. On this particular project, I'm going to fill the windows with yellow tissue paper. You could also use wax paper or parchment paper, depending on what kind of effect you want and what you have in your craft stash. The paper gets applied to the back piece. Make sure that you are applying it to the part that'll be between the two so you don't see the edges. So I want to apply it to this side of this piece and this side of this piece. I will start by cutting my tissue paper to cover all of the window holes on this particular piece. I'm not going to cover the door because I want that to be able to open, so I'm just going to cut it out here to roughly be a little bit bigger than the windows, like so. Then I'm going to take my glue. I'm using Art Glitter Glue. I have transferred it to a little bottle that has a very tiny nozzle. And I'm going to outline each of the windows with just a thin layer of glue. Like so. I'll take my tissue paper and cover all the windows. Press in place. Now I'll take an X-Acto blade and I will outline those areas that I do not want to have tissue paper. I do not want the door to have tissue paper. And I do not want tissue paper on this outside edge. I'm only scoring lightly so that it goes through only the tissue paper, not the cardstock. All of these edges will not be visible, like so. I need to do the same on this piece. First, I will cut the tissue paper to be a little bigger than all of them. Again, the glue. There is the back of the mansion on side one. I will now do the same for the windows on the garage of side one. Just the windows, not the door. I will repeat this same process on the buildings that are on side two. On side two, we have the other half of the mansion, the outhouse, which did not lose its little moon here, so I have to take that out. Those are the two building parts here. So let's see, this will go this way, and this will go this way. Move that out of the way, and I'm going to repeat the same process and apply the yellow tissue paper to all of these. Wall two. Now let's work on the third wall of the Haunted Village. This wall is a little bit different in that all of the additions do not get added to the same side. This wall will fold this way along the score line. This is going to get put on the back here, and this is going to get put on the back there. So here, this side gets tissue paper, and on this one, this side gets tissue paper. Wall 4 has no windows, so I'm not going to put any tissue paper on it. Now let's go back to wall 1. We will attach these to the back side of wall 1. This one will be glued here, this one will be glued here. This is a good time to fold your doors. Once it's three-dimensional, it's incredibly difficult to fold these on the fold lines. So do this before you start assembling it into 3 dimensions. 3 doors there. Okay, I am going to glue this here. I'm going to do a good job making sure that all of the edges are glued and then some good areas in the center. See the little slit here? Glue around that. That's important. It probably would have been smarter to glue on the back of the tissue paper piece. And on the other walls, I'm going to switch to that technique. I will have more accuracy as to where glue should not be on that piece. The tissue paper piece is a little bit smaller than this. Line that up and glue it in place. There should be a slight margin all the way around. Press in place. Adding filling in the windows is optional. If you'd like to make this file in less time, you can skip that step. But I like the effect of the added tissue paper in the windows. Now we will repeat this on the garage, and like I suggested, I'm going to put the glue on the garage, then I have a better indicator of where it's going to go. Even if you are not going to put tissue paper in the windows, I do recommend that you put these backing pieces on, especially in the tall areas. The cardstock I've used is 65-pound Recollection from Michaels, and this adds a little stiffness to it so that over time these will stay straight. Okay, I've added the backings to wall 1. I repeat that with wall 2. Now we're going to do wall 3. Okay, now I will apply this one. I am now going to start adding the black accents to wall number 1. We will do this on each of the walls while they are still flat. It is much easier. If you go to my website at 3dcuts.com and you go to the tutorial, which is at 3dcuts.com/zig-zag-village haunted tutorial, you will find that I've put up sheets there on just showing you where all of the black pieces go on each of the pages. This is the page for side 1. You do not need to print it out, but I did just to make it here, have it here on the video. Okay, here is the piece. Let's get all the black parts that go with it. Here are the assorted pieces that cut out for side 1. The black pieces include different roof lines, a bunch of rectangles that will become shutters, an extra fence, and a whole bunch of little pieces that I call lumber. These do not have assigned spots. We'll put those on later. Let's move those off to the side. The shutters we're going to move off to the side as well. Right now, we're going to deal with the major components, which are the roof lines. So, I'm going to start with the porch. It goes here. The larger pieces in this grouping can be put on using the art glitter glue. There. This piece of the mansard roof goes here. The next mansard roof goes over here around the little half circle window. This is a second roof for the porch to give it a little more dimension. Here is the roof line for the garage. There is a tiny little cap for the stovepipe. There is a roof for the top of the tower. Then on the front of these windows go the dormer pieces. These, it starts getting easier to not use the art glitter glue, but instead to use a Xyron adhesive machine. I like this for the tinier pieces. Make sure that you put the front side up, although on these particular pieces it doesn't matter because they are symmetrical. I am also going to do the little dormer roofs using this type of adhesive. There, that's all the tiny pieces for side 1, wall 1. So I'm going to take those and get my rubber and rub this. I use my Silhouette scraper. And let's add the dormers. And then each of the dormers has a little roof line on it as well. There are 3 that are the same. They go on the 3 matching dormers. And there's one that is obviously shorter and wider, and that goes on the little dormer over here. Okay, additionally on this side, there is a fence that goes on this, and you kind of have to find which way matches. There it goes. That's a match. It overlaps onto the garage. You can use either the Xyron or the glue on this one. We can now add the shutters. Again, these small pieces, I would use the Xyron machine. And the last accessory is all the lumber. Now these pieces randomly get applied to every window to board it up. There is not a front or a back to these pieces, so it doesn't really matter which side you put the adhesive on. And they really don't have assigned places to go. You'll just have fun boarding up the windows with paper lumber. I've applied adhesive to all the shutters and the paper lumber here, and these I start applying to side one. Now the shutters will get applied in a crooked, haphazard manner. Remember, the haunted mansion is decrepit. It is falling apart. So we don't worry about getting things neat and orderly. The windows with the round half dome on top all get shutters. And now we start adding lumber to board up the windows. This is totally up to you as to where you put the lumber. You can do all the lower windows. You can do some on every window. You can spread it around. You do want to make sure that you let some light still come through the windows. There, we have applied lumber. Now it really is getting a good haunted feel to it. On the back side, the extra tree, which has a fold line on it, double fold line. Okay, all of the detail is now added to side one. We're going to add the detail to side number two now. Here are all of the parts for side wall number two. Again, there are some roofs, some fences, a pile of shutters, another pile of paper lumber. This one also has some bats and a tiny little cat, so be careful for those. Let's move the lumber and the shingles out of the way, and we will get started putting these other pieces on. We also don't need the bats until later, so we'll push those off too. Okay, this mansard roof gets put there. This roof goes here. I'm going to use our glitter glue on the kitty because I want to be able to reposition it if I need to. There, that adds some good strength to a tiny little area there. I've applied Xyron adhesive to all of the remaining small pieces, including the dormers, the shutters, and the paper lumber. And I will quickly apply each of those to its place now. On this one, I'm going to apply the glue for the fences. This one will go here, and this one will go here. It is best if you apply the glue to the gray, then you don't have to worry about getting it on the wrong side. There we go. There is the second wall of the Haunted Village. I'm going to add details now to wall number 3. First, there's a roof piece. It gets placed inside the dotted fold line here. I've already added adhesive to all of the little pieces for this side. On the little window here, it goes on the other side. That's side 3. Now we'll work on side 4. Side 4, the building portion has no window, but it does have a roof line, and that's this piece here. And side 4 gets folded on 2 fold lines that go up the tree. And again, side 4 has things on both sides, so you have to pay attention to what side you're working on. The building and the RIP gravestone. The RIP gravestone will go on the back side here. So we'll turn it over. We will put the glue on the gray and put the black over it. The black is slightly smaller. That'll make the RIP stand out on the front. On the skull and crossbones, that goes on the opposite side. So the black will go here like so. There are some tiny details on the skull there that you're going to want to get dabs of glue on so that they don't pop up on you later. There we go. Okay, fences. Make sure you get the right fences in the right place. Let's see. They do go over. There we go. I will put the glue here on the grave side. There, and on this side over here, this fence is going to go on this side. So you have to flip it over, and the glue will go here. Okay, side 4, when looked at from the front, when it's folded, you will see the appropriate things on the right sides. This fence we will hold for a little later. On side 4, there is also a tree which is going to be attached here. This tree can be folded on the fold lines and an 1/8" piece of score tape put along it, and it can be adhered to the outside of the tree on side 4. Okay, we've finished adding all of the details to each of the 4 panels. Now we're going to put them together. Start with panel 1. This panel gets folded right here on the edge between the tree and the mansion. There is no fold line there because there's only these little pieces here that you fold on. Try to keep this line straight. Okay, panel 2, the other part with the mansion on it, gets folded on this tree line here. That one does have a dotted line to help you know where to fold it. Now that we have folded that one, we are going to apply the other part of that tree. That's this last piece here. We fold it along its fold line. We put score tape here and we attach it like that. So I'm going to again use the 1/8 inch score tape. Run it along here to the fat side of the dotted line. Peel it, fold it, and it gets adhered right there on that tree so that it opens up like so and forms a stronger tree here at the corner. Now these 2 pieces get slid together. We need to fold back this tab along the long edge of this part of the mansion. We slide these 2 together, the notch is there, and there's another notch at this end right in the middle of the garage. We slide that one over the fence posts at the other end. Like so. Okay, it should be able to lie flat at this point, and we're going to turn it over, and here where the garage and the fence line up, this seam right here, we're going to put a small piece of Scotch tape to reinforce it. Right there, across where that little slit is that the 2 slid together. This is on the back side, and that'll help hold it. On this side, we have the tab that is here. That one we're going to use score tape on. We've got that tab. Add the piece of score tape. Peel it. And fold that over flat as well. We also want to fold in the door of the lavatory. We didn't do that before. Okay. This will now open 3-dimensionally like so. The end pieces now get applied. Open it and flatten it the other direction so that you see the left end here. This is the left end, piece 3. There's a tab here that gets folded back and a tab on this side that gets folded back. This tab here is going to have score tape put on this side. So I'm going to use 1/4 inch score tape here, and I'm going to cover this little tab with score tape. That is going to get put behind here, bottoms line up, the edge lines up, and it gets adhered there. Peel the backing off the score tape. Again, line this up, bottoms line up, make sure it can fold. Stick it together. Great. This one, the tab gets folded over. This is going to fold over. It's going to be placed flat and glued right there. So we open that up. We run a 1/4" piece of score tape the length of this tab. If perchance on any of these tabs here you get a little bit of score tape hanging over the edge, make sure you fold it back because that'll interfere with it opening cleanly. There we go. Now I'm going to fold this over, line up the bottoms, line up this edge here, and press in place. Open it up. Pinch that so you get good adherence there and this corner. Okay, now we've got the other end of our haunted village in place. We need to finish up the garage and outhouse end, and that's where side 4 goes. Now here we have a tab that gets folded to go behind there, and here we have a tab which gets folded right at the end of the fences. That one will go behind, and I can tell it's too long. I'll take care of this in the plan. I will cut that off. Now we need to run score tape along that little tab. I am going to peel that. Make sure there's no score tape hanging over the edge. I am going to align the bottoms here and fold that tab around back like so. Pinch in place. And this one will get the score tape here and adhere to this end. So open that up. Add the score tape there. Peel it. Get your bottoms kind of lined up again. Fold it over. Fold that under. Press it into place. Now, if you pull that up, your zigzag village, or your haunted zigzag mansion, will open up. The trees will have to be made to stand out and be 3-dimensional. And we have one more piece that's optional. Oh, excuse me, I forgot the bats. We have multiple pieces. This fence, if you would like, can be added on to this end over here. I like it hanging out about that far. I'm going to put a little bit of score tape on this tab here. I'm going to add that detail. Peel it. Let's see, let's add a fence sticking out this side here. Bingo. Right there. And that'll still fold in flat. Yep. And we can put dabs of glue on the trees and add bats. Maybe one on the chimney, a few on this tree. I think that the pattern came with 6 bats that we can apply to different locations. I am going to fold it flat like so and add a little bat in each dimension on each tree. So put some glue up there. I kind of like it if they get to hang out into space a little bit. One going that way, and then one going this way. There we go. A collapsible for storage expandable haunted village. I think I'll add some pumpkins to it. The file also includes a few little pumpkins that you can assemble if you would like to add these optional pumpkins to your haunted house. The orange goes over the green. And then I would consider taking a Sharpie marker and just adding a few of the ribs that a pumpkin might have. And find a nice place to add that. I think I'm going to put one in here by this tree. I'm going to put the glue on the fence though, so. There you go. Happy Halloween. You can choose to add LED tea lights into the house. I think we should go back here though and see what kind of effect that has. You can also add spider web material and stretch it all over the design, and then include LED starry fairy lights to it and turn those on for an entirely different effect. Spooky and fun. Happy crafting, everyone, and have a happy Halloween.